Hello everyone, this is Team Kazano and my name is Srinivas Yandrapu. In this presentation, I am going to present life cycle strategy plan for late clinical development. So what are we going to discuss in this late clinical development? Phase 3 clinical studies analysis, that is describing the pivotal trials, primary endpoint, secondary endpoint, safety aspects and pharmacoeconomic trials. So what sort of pivotal trials were conducted to show the efficacy of the Kazano? So efficacy of the combination of alogliptin and metformin hydrochloride has been demonstrated in 3 phase 3 efficacy studies in patients with type 2 diabetes that is inadequately controlled on diet and exercise. So in patients with type 2 diabetes, treatment with Kazano produced clinically meaningful and statistically significant improvements for lowering glycated hemoglobin and as well as fasting plasma glucose levels. So if you see the summary of the clinical trials that are conducted to show the efficacy of the Kazano, so the objective is here to show the efficacy of Kazano. So the first study was against individual alogliptin and metformin and placebo against Kazano. The second study is Kazano against the placebo plus metformin. The third study is alogliptin add-on therapy compared with combination of pioglitazone and metformin. So if you see the results, the summary, so what is our aim here is, the number one is achieving glycated hemoglobin less than 7% and also change from baseline for fasting plasma glucose levels. If you see the first study, 59% of the population at higher dose of Kazano achieved glycated hemoglobin levels less than 7% compared to placebo, alogliptin and metformin alone. If you see, it clearly shows the effectiveness of Kazano compared to placebo and alogliptin and metformin alone. So the value shows itself the efficacy of Kazano, and if you see the free plasma fasting plasma glucose levels, also Kazano shows the baseline change. You see it reduced minus 46 points compared to placebo, alogliptin and metformin alone. So these numbers also shows that how effective Kazano is. If you see the second study where the Kazano comparison of Kazano against placebo plus metformin. So here itself also 44% of the population achieved less than 7% glycated hemoglobin against 18% in case of placebo plus metformin. And at the same time, if you see the fasting plasma glucose levels also, so the people taking Kazano, the baseline change is 17 points compared to the comparator. So the third study, alogliptin add-on therapy compared with the combination of pioglitazone plus metformin. So here also the people who are taking Kazano, so 33% population achieved compared to 21% in comparator. So even for the fasting plasma glucose levels also, the Kazano achieved minus 15, whereas comparator achieved minus 4%. So of the all these trials, it clearly shows that Kazano is more effective than either alogliptin or metformin alone, or against placebo plus metformin, or add-on therapy with pioglitazone plus metformin. So what is the primary endpoint here? The primary efficacy endpoint was change in glycated hemoglobin levels from baseline to week 26. So in Kazano's case, the primary endpoint was achieved when taking Kazano twice daily compared to metformin and alogliptin taken alone. So what are the secondary endpoints are? It's a change in hemoglobin levels and change from fasting plasma glucose levels and incidence of marked hyperglycemia and hyperglycemic rescue change from baseline in body weight. So what are the safety aspects of the safety trials that are conducted to show that Kazano is safe to take. So over 2,700 patients with type 2 diabetes have received elagliptin co-administered with metformin in 4 large randomized double-blind controlled clinical trials. Pooled analysis from above study indicates that the overall incidence of adverse reaction was 74% in patients treated with Kazano compared to 76% treated with placebo. So adverse reactions reported in greater than 4% of patients treated with Kazano and more frequently than in patients receiving either elagliptin, metformin or placebo. Kazano can cause serious side effects of lactic acidosis due to presence of metformin hydrochloride and inflammation of the pancreas due to presence of elagliptin. Patients with kidney problems needs to be cautious and shall not exceed the maximum recommended daily dose of 25 mg elagliptin and 2000 mg metformin hydrochloride. This is the highest doses that can be allowed on any given day. Kazano tablets must not be split before swallowing, and also as a post-marketing commitment, 2 post-marketing studies for Kazano to be required, an enhanced pharmacovigilance program to monitor for liver abnormalities, serious cases of pancreatitis and severe hypersensitivity reactions. So a pediatric safety and efficacy study under Pediatric Research Equity Act. So regarding the pharmacoeconomic trials, currently pharmacoeconomic data for Kazano is unavailable. However, so to shed light on quality of life, according to a study, association between better glycated hemoglobin may improve mental, but it may not improve physical inconvenience. So what does it mean is decrease in glycated hemoglobin level give you comfort mentally but not physically. So metformin can be considered as effective for reducing glycated hemoglobin compared to sulfonylureas due to its low risk profile. Some other added benefits works in favor of metformin are it doesn't cause weight gain and reduce cholesterol and triglycerides. Based on the combination with elagliptin, metformin hydrochloride can be effective to jonomate and other combination drugs that use it for type 2 diabetes in the form of Kazano. Thank you.